Hello, boys and girls. How are you? This is Mr. Ruson. I'm sure you recognize my face already. And of course, we are going to be doing science. That's what we always do together. How have you been doing? Have you been having a nice week? I have. So today, we are going to really put all the things that we learned last week together. We're going to put all of that knowledge together about energy and about renewable and non-renewable resources, about natural resources, about fossil fuels, all of those things. And we are going to we're going to explore life on our planet. How do we live our lives? What machines do we use every day that we don't even think we are using anymore, that we don't even realize we're using? And what kind of fuels do we use to run those machines? And I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Let's go ahead and go to the learning target, okay? Let's read our learning target together. Let's read our learning target. So I can formulate questions, I can make questions, I can come up with questions, I can collect and record data, read articles, and watch videos to explain what natural resources are more environmentally friendly. So which natural resources are the ones that are more friendly to our planet Earth, right? So that's our target, that's our learning target for this lesson, okay? We're gonna figure out which natural resources are the best, are the friendliest to our planet Earth, which ones do the least amount of damage to our planet Earth. And we haven't really talked about the solar system, but I'm sure you know quite a bit about the solar system. And you know that how many planets do we know on our solar system that can support life right now? Of all the planets, which are, let me show you a picture of the solar system. So we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And of all those planets, really, Earth is the only one that can support life, right? So, since Earth is the only one that can support life, we want to take as good care of it as possible, right? For us and, for when we have children, when you have children and when your children have children, we want to make sure that we are taking pretty good care of our planet. So what we like to do today, as we were talking about the learning target, remember? We want to explore what are the friendliest, what are the best natural resources to use on our planet. But before we get into that, we have to really bring attention to what kind of things we do on our planet. That's what I want you to start thinking about. How is life on our planet? What kind of things do we do here, okay? We talked a few weeks ago, we talked about beavers and about termites, and we know that they cut trees to make their houses. We know that they dam the rivers, right, to make those houses. We know that they eat a lot of the vegetation around them. And termites, we know that they build those big mounds, also making houses. And humans, right? Remember that city that was made in the desert? City of Dubai. So we also, just like other animals, we also are trying to survive. But our case is just a little bit different because we add a lot more things to our lives. So that's what I want us to explore first, okay? So let me show you the document that I would like you to open. So the document is called How Do Humans Do It? How do humans do it? So go ahead and open that document, please. So the document has 3 columns. One is already done for you, and then you have to do the other 2. The first one is the type of machine. I know you don't think of a car as a machine, but it is an apparatus that help us do work, right? And the stove, right? What you use to cook, the refrigerator, the boats, okay? If you have a boat or TV, things like that. And then your job is to, what does that machine do, okay? What does it do? And what kind of fuel does it need to run? And you can just guess if you're not sure, okay? Or you might want to put a couple. of ways or of fuels that it uses to run, okay? So do your best with that. So pause the video and work on filling out that chart, and then I'd like to hear from you, okay? Thank you. So how do you do with it? So the car, what does it do? It provides transportation, right? So that's what you need to write on the second column. What does it do? What it does, it provides transportation. It moves us, it helps us move from one place to another, right? And what kind of fuel to run it? Well, you could have put gasoline or diesel, and some cars run with electricity. Not as many, but they're becoming more popular, right? Air conditioning or heater, usually electric or gas, right? And what do they do? Well, they help us keep either warm or cold, depending on the season, right? For the stove, what does it do? It helps us to cook the food that is provided by plants and animals. And it's used either electricity or gas, or in some places, wood, right? Charcoal, right? And then boats and TVs, phones, a bicycle. It's used to transport us from one place to another. And what kind of fuel does it use? Well, it uses human power, right? We don't need to put any gas, we just have to pedal. And airplanes, also transportation. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I just wanted to just for you to think about our lives on this planet. So now, since our learning target says that we are going to be formulating questions, right? I want you to take a look at the chart that you just filled out. So take a look at that chart, and in your notebooks, I want you to write 3 things that you notice about that chart. 3 things that you notice about all of those machines, okay? 3 things that you notice about life on Earth. 3 things that you notice about humans, okay? And 2 things that you are wondering about. And 2 things that you wonder. So look at the chart and write 3 things that you notice and 2 things that you wonder. Well, I don't know what you noticed because I can't ask for your responses. I would love to watch for your responses. But I'm sure that you have some interesting things that you noticed. For myself, I noticed that all of those machines need fuel. They need some sort of fuel to run. I also noticed that a lot of them are not really necessary to live. And let me ask you a question. What are those things, those elements that living organisms, or in this case, humans, animals, need to live? What are those things? Do you remember what they were? That's right. Food, water, air, shelter, and some space, right? So those are the things that we need. I noticed that a lot of those machines that we use so much every day are not really necessary to live. But anyways, it makes our lives, or they make our lives much easier, right? And what are you wondering? Well, for me, I was wondering, where do we get the fuel? And I was wondering if I got the fuel correct. I didn't know if there were other ways to run those machines. I was also wondering if those machines are good for our planet or not, you know? And so that's really what we want to think about today. So that's life on our planet. We use all of those things. And let's look at the learning target one more time. So we wanted to know, if we go to the last part of the learning target, which natural resources are more environmentally friendly, which natural resources are better for our planet. So let's go ahead and explore, right? So now we know that cars, right? There are electric cars right now, but most of the cars in our country, and actually most of the cars in the world, run with gas. And gas comes from crude oil, which is a natural resource because we learned that it was a fossil fuel, okay? So let's go ahead and explore gasoline, okay? Let's explore that natural resource and decide if it is friendly for our environment or not, if it is friendly for our planet or not. So let's go ahead and explore gas. I want you to open this document that is titled Gasoline. So open that document so that we can find some information about that fuel that most cars in the USA, in our country, use to run. And it looks like this, okay? It looks like this, Gasoline, and it was written by Susan Sherwood. We are going to read it together, okay? We're gonna read it together. Most of the article we're gonna read together. And as we read, remember, ask yourself questions, what do I wonder about this? Why and how and when did we start doing this? So ask yourself a lot of questions as we read this article. So let's read. You've seen gasoline pumped into the tank of a car. But what exactly is that fuel? Where did it come from? What is it made of? How did it get to the station? What does it do to the environment? When it comes to gasoline, you kids might have a lot of questions. The beginning. Gasoline comes from crude oil. This oil was formed from plants and animals that lived millions and millions of years ago. Time passed, and their remains became buried. High temperatures and intense pressure affected the plants and animals and turned them into liquid oil. Gasoline is called a fossil fuel because it is made from animals and plants that were alive millions of years ago. Let's keep reading. History. In 1859, the first U.S. oil well was dug in Titusville, Pennsylvania. The crude oil was used to make kerosene. Gasoline was a byproduct of that process. However, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, gasoline was not really important until 1892 when the automobile was invented, when the car was invented. In less than 30 years, 9 million cars were using gasoline in the U.S. Now, I want you to continue reading your article by yourselves, okay? Continue reading, so pause our lesson and continue reading the article by yourselves. Remember, ask yourself a lot of questions. Why, where, when, how did this happen? So ask yourself a lot of questions. Notice everything that you're reading and also what you are wondering, okay? So finish reading the article. Pause our lesson and finish the article by yourselves. So, did you learn a lot of things from this article about gasoline? Maybe all we knew was that our mom or dad or grandpa or grandma or uncle or aunt go to the gas station and they just pump it. And we never knew what it was. So I'm sure that we learned many things. Now, at the end of the article, there are 6 questions. These questions, okay? So what I need you to do now is read those questions carefully, answer each one using evidence from the article, okay? So pause the lesson and then answer each one of those questions carefully. All the information that we need about gas. So you answer the questions, and according to the learning target, we're trying to figure out what natural resources are more environmentally friendly. So we're trying to figure out if gas is environmentally friendly, gasoline. So think about the information that you have explored, and we are going to continue exploring next lesson. So I will see you next time. Bye-bye.